How's it going, guys? It's K Cars, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you guys about some things that you could expect if you are planning to buy a used C7 Z06. So let's get right into the video. One thing that you should know about the Z06 is that it's really not practical at all. It's very low to the ground. There's really no space. For in the trunk has a decent amount of space, which I will show you guys right now. And you do hit that button right there in the front. And actually, before I show you guys the trunk, let me talk about how to actually open it. So there is a button right there and on the key fob, and those are actually the only two ways to open up the trunk, unless you are in an emergency where your battery doesn't work or something. And there is a slot right there for the key, so you would put the key in there, turn it, and then the trunk will unlock. But like I said, that's only if your battery doesn't work. So once you get the trunk open, there is a handle right over here. You pull that and it will open up your driver's side door. Like I said, in case your battery is dead, you can use that method so you can still get inside the car, because the handles are actually electronic. So if your battery is dead, you will not be able to open up the doors. So here is the trunk space. There is a very decent amount of space, except if you're driving this car like it's meant to be driven, like having fun with it, then all of your stuff around here is going to be flying around. Like you can see, I have my camera stuff back here. It's been flying around everywhere. So that's one downside about this trunk, is that if you do put stuff back here, it will fly around. So I definitely don't recommend going grocery shopping with this car. It will work, like you definitely have space, but do you really want your groceries to be flying around in the back of this car? Probably not. So that's one thing you definitely want to watch out for if you are considering getting a Z06. Now let's move on to the inside. So like I was saying, this car is not practical at all. It's kind of difficult to get in and out of because it's just so low to the ground. That wasn't really showing you guys how low it is to the ground, but that's, I don't know, it is really low to the ground. Just take my word for it. I'm used to driving a Dodge Challenger, and whenever I got inside this car, it was like I was sitting on the floor. That's how low this thing is, and that's also what I love about this car. Just the fact that it's so low to the ground just makes it seem like that much more of a race car. And also on the inside, it is very compact. So from the outside, this car looks like pretty big, I guess. In my opinion, it looks pretty big. The hood is huge. It has a bunch of presence on the road. You know what it is when it's coming down the road. Looks like a Batmobile, like a race car, and it's just amazing. The steering wheel is pretty small with some carbon fiber and a flat bottom, so it's definitely good for like track use, especially since it's so compact, and everything else is compact inside here. People probably will not like that. They would prefer a bigger car, like maybe a Challenger or a Charger. In my opinion, I would rather have a car that's more compact. I just think it's more like driver oriented and more like racy, I guess. When it comes to the Challenger, yes, it is more practical, obviously. It has a lot more room than this car. It's a 5-seater. This car is only a 2-seater. As you can see, there's 2 seats and then the trunk back there, which I like. I don't like taking more than 2 people when I'm driving the Challenger anyways. So that's why I like this car a lot. And as you can see, all the controls here are driver oriented as well. And yeah, I mean, this car is just crazy. It's a crazy experience driving this thing. You will attract a lot of attention if you drive a Z06 like this. Even if it doesn't have the Z07 package, you will still attract a lot of attention from people on the road and just people walking by, to be honest. On my way here, I actually came across this old Lexus guy, like a tuned Lexus or something, probably not even tuned. He probably just chopped the exhaust off, and he floored it past me, probably going 80 miles an hour. So I caught up to him, got right next to him, downshifted to third. I was waiting for him to start, but he wasn't doing anything, so I just floored it, got up to probably 110 in Mexico, and it was a lot of fun. So you will get occasional people like that, people that think they can race you and be faster. So when that does happen, you know you can beat them, no problem. But the responsible thing to do, obviously, would be to just leave it alone and not do anything. But what's the fun in that? Of course, like, you want to show them what you can do, what your car can do, as long as it's a safe environment, there's no other cars around. Another thing that you need to know about the Z06 is that the infotainment system is pretty laggy. So let's go ahead and start up the car and show you guys what I mean. But this part never gets old. The sound of this car definitely makes up for all of its flaws that it has. So let's go ahead and talk about the infotainment system here and the gauge cluster and show you guys what I mean by lag. So you go into settings, that's fine. Try to scroll down. It's not really like consistent. You can't really scroll. Like you saw, I went all the way down. It didn't scroll all the way down. So it's just like, sometimes the touchscreen doesn't even work. Like you saw, I just pressed it, it didn't work. See, it worked that time, so that's good. And then I wish everything was on the touchscreen. Maybe I'm just missing something, or like I don't know how to use this, but I don't really see anywhere to go back to the home screen except this button and this button. So I just wish that they would have put everything on the actual touchscreen. So, I mean, you can hit the home button, that'll take you back home. But the biggest thing I wanted to talk about is the gauge cluster right here. You guys probably know about the different driving modes the Corvette has, you know, weather, eco, touring, sport, and track. And going between all those modes is very laggy. And I'm not even exaggerating that, it is that bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this dial to the right to go into sport mode. And you'll see how much time it takes to actually show up in sport mode and show the different gauges. So 3, 2, 1. There it is, sport mode, and then it takes a while to actually show the sport mode gauge. So track mode is even worse. So 3, 2, 1. There you see track mode, and it just now showed the gauge. Now, it really isn't a big deal, but for a performance car like this, I would expect it to be like not that bad, because if you want to switch between the different gauges, like the different driving modes, you want to be able to do that pretty fast. Like, the infotainment system lag isn't a huge deal for me because I'm probably not really going to be using this stuff at all, but this is something that's a bigger deal to me, is driving modes and all the lag that comes with that. So let's go ahead and go back to sport. So that was a bit quicker, but still took a long time to actually switch over. And then back to touring. There we go. So it does take a few seconds, and I am being very picky about this stuff, but it is something that I think should be a lot faster, especially if it's a performance car like this. Another cool thing that a lot of people probably know about, but if you don't know about Corvettes, you probably do not know about this. It has a little like secret screen thing behind the screen, like a secret compartment behind the screen that you can store stuff. That's pretty good if you want to put like your wallet back there like I have, and then just put it back like that. And if you have the car in valet mode, you actually cannot access that back compartment if it's in valet mode, which is pretty cool. If you don't want people messing with stuff and they're driving your car, you just put it in valet mode and you don't have to worry about it. Another thing that you should know if you are thinking about getting a used Z06 is the interior of this car is kind of cheap. So you can see it's pretty like cheap plastic all around here. The leather doesn't even feel like real leather, which, I mean, I am complaining about this stuff. That doesn't really matter, but like I said, I am being pretty picky. I want to talk about all the flaws that I came up with this car. The only part with this car that doesn't feel cheap to me is the steering wheel and the shifter, and like these dials that adjust the temperature and the fan speed. But everything else on the inside feels pretty cheap. Like you can see here, if I like knock on everything, it kind of sounds like it might fall apart, like it's not complete, I guess. Then like I was saying about the leather, it looks fake. And the seats aren't too bad. They feel pretty good. I definitely would prefer to have the competition seats for a car like this, but I mean, these are pretty good too, I guess. For drives that are more than like half an hour, it's gonna be very uncomfortable. So whenever I went to pick this car up, I was driving it for about half an hour and my back started killing me. It was that bad, and I'm not even exaggerating that. Like, you cannot drive this car for more than half an hour without like your back killing you. So if you guys want to see the video I made of my drive back with this car, it's called like First Impressions. I released that video a few weeks ago. I also included like my reactions to my first time flooring this car, so it was definitely a lot of fun to do that, so make sure to go check that video out. So like I said, with the comp seats, the competition seats, it probably would be even more uncomfortable than what it is already, but I mean, this is a performance car. I keep saying that. It's not made to be comfortable, it's not luxurious or anything like that. It's definitely going to be pretty uncomfortable. As you guys probably all know, the Corvette does come with a quad exhaust, as you can see right there, and it is chrome. At least it's supposed to be chrome. So one thing that you're gonna have to know with this car is that the exhaust gets very dirty, especially the two on the outside. Now, I think it has something to do with the active fuel management maybe, but I'm not completely sure about that. As you can see, the exhaust is very dirty, hard to keep clean. I wish it came black just so it would match like the rest of the car. Though black is very hard to keep clean. Like you can see, it's already very dusty. You can see every single scratch, every single mark. But when it's clean, it looks amazing. It looks amazing even when it's dirty, but oh well. It's a Z06, what can you do? Just keep it clean and don't drive it in dirty conditions, I guess. Another thing for Z06 potential owners is the tires. Now, you will probably go through tires very quick with this car. I guess it depends on how you drive. Like if you're driving like a grandma all the time, you probably won't go through tires that fast, but with this car, you're gonna have to be spending a lot of money on tires. These tires are definitely not cheap. The Z06 comes with 335 stock, I believe, and the owner of this car upgraded to 345s, which, I mean, you probably definitely need huge tires with a car like this that has 650 horsepower. And I have floored this car in second gear, did not slip at all, so I'm very happy with the traction that these tires have. Only problem is, if you do have a lot of traction, that means your tires are pretty soft and very wide. And if they're soft, that means you're gonna be leaving a lot of rubber on the road and you're gonna have to be replacing them pretty often. One thing that I love about the Z06 is how easy it is to make fast. So it's already like a rocket ship from the factory, all stock. This car is extremely fast. But if you wanna make it even louder than it already is, you could put headers, catless X-pipe, and you can be done with it right there. That would add horsepower with a dyno tune, and it would make it extremely loud. So that's what I love about this car. And if you are a potential C7 Z06 buyer, then that's something you could keep in mind, is that it's very easy to make this car loud and fast with minimal mods. Honestly, 650 horsepower from the factory. You could add, like I said, headers, catless X-pipe, dyno tune, some other basic bolt-ons, and a cam. Yes, that would be a lot of money, but it would be a lot faster and a lot louder, and it would sound insane. So guys, that's probably gonna be it for this video. Like I said, I've been recording a lot of videos with the Z06. I already posted a few in the past few weeks. Like I said, I did a review, first impressions, 5 things I love, 5 things I hate, and there's still a few videos to come in the next few weeks. So if you want more Z06 content, make sure to subscribe. And if you want more Challenger content, definitely subscribe as well, because I still have that car. And leave me some video suggestions down in the comments below of videos you would like to see in the future. And if you have anything to add to this video, definitely leave those down in the comments as well. And if you like this video or found it entertaining, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.